Right, so we're back here on Caribbean Music Line, just some off-camera banter with between myself and Mr. Edwards. And we were discussing before we left on the break mechanical rights and who exactly owns the right to any pre-recorded work in the industry. And before the break, we mentioned I can fall to any one of a number of people within the industry. It could be you, it can be the author, composer, producer, executive producer, owner of the studio. So my question is, who determines that when that time comes?
Who determines that has to step back, Adrian, from the creative aspect of the product. Who created the product for it to become a right? When did it become a right? How does it become a right? Who owns the right? How is the right distributed when it is recognized that it's a right? A lot of people conceive in their mind that they have an idea, they have a right for the idea. Yes, you have the idea in your mind, but from the time the idea moves out of just the mindset and is now going to be documented, it's now going to be recorded, made tangible, the rights have to be discussed. I think what we do in the Caribbean, and because we love music and we are creators and stuff, Adrian, we deal with the rights after. I am saying we should deal with the rights up front. So if you and I and the producer and two other individuals come together and we are talking about a song called Run Baby Run, who's going to write that song? Who's the author? Who is going to be the composer? Who is going to record it? What is the name of the recording studio? Where do we have to go? All that has to be considered initially, so that at the end of the day, when we sit down and we say, well, okay, Adrian, you own 10%. Trevor, you own 15%. Producer, you own another 10%. We have to decide 10% of what? 20% of what?
So the value must be determined.
The value must be determined first. The right must be determined first. So if we determine who owns the mechanical right on this particular production, then let us go and produce. But we don't do that. We love the music. We go to the studio, and at the end of the production, hip, 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 everything is done right. The song is sounding good. You go to perform the song. I come and say, Adrian, you can't perform the song. I own 50% of the song. 50% of what? 50% of what right do I own? And we have to get that clear initially. So the author and the composer could own the mechanical right, but then there's a third party, the producer, that is coming into the stuff. He has the mechanical equipment to produce the song.
Because if it wasn't for him, the song itself would not be heard on radio.
Naturally. So we have to decide how the other parties are going to benefit from the author and the composer, or the author and the composer. And as you rightly said, one person could own the right, but the right could also be owned by several factions, you know.
All right, so like you said, I am the author composer of the song Run Baby Run. So I come and I say, well, this is the track, I want X, Y, Z, I want it done so and so and so and so.
Right.
So I come by you now, the producer.
Right.
From what I'm gathering, you're saying from the time you and I sit down and we hash the creative process,
right,
the right then needs to be readjusted, so to speak. So we say, okay, well, 50% for you, you being author composer, 50% for me,
right,
being the one who bring it out.
But before we reach to the 50%, when we reach to the point where we are in the recording studio, the discussion should be, there's a cost for production. Let's just say the cost is $5,000 US to produce a song. You are the author, composer, you come to me as the producer. We have to sit down and decide, do you have $5,000 to pay me? Yes, I have $5,000. Then you own all the right. I am just an independent contractor. I am paying you for the production of this particular product. Perchance you don't have the full value of my fee. Then we have to decide, how am I going to benefit from the balance of the fee that was charged? You don't have $5,000 US, you only have $2,500 US. Then what happened to the right? I am now going to start to share in your production rights, in your creative rights, in all the rights that you have, because the right starts from that point. From the time we come together, we start to discuss the right start. You cannot pay me, Adrian, then I need part of that right. That right is the mechanical right, I need that. And then there's other right as well. There's the performance right. Because you might probably want to go and perform the song on live. The song is going to be performed via the radio, via the television. All that is performance right. Then you might say, Trevor, you know what? I need to make a video of this song, and say, wow. Then I'm recognizing the rights now start to increase in terms of not only production, but the use of the product.
All right. I think this is the one right that encapsulates everyone, because, like you said, they come most of the times with just a plain idea.
Yeah.
So they think, okay, well, 100% of profit should be mine because I am the sole creative drive behind X, Y, and Z song. But when they sit, and the reality is that they don't have the cash to produce the song, then they see their rights dwindle.
Naturally. I mean, people come to me, Adrian, and I would take my keyboard, you know, and my piano or whatever, and I would say, okay, Adrian, let me hear the melody of the song. And you would start to sing, la 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 la, but I start to put that, what I hear, transpose, for want of a word, and put that on the keyboard. I'm the arranger of your song. You just come and you la 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 to me, but I just take your la 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 and name it F, G, A flat,
put
B,
a chord structure
and I put a chord structure to it. You can't take the arranging rights. So you have to know what rights you're coming. Now in the Caribbean, I have recognized that people just give away the right. I go out to activities and I would stand up and see rights just going down the hill because people don't know what their rights are. So when you come to the studio, you come to me and I take your la 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 and I start to put the notation and I take in your la 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 and name it F, Y, and G. I will take my pen now and start to put the musical notation on it. You didn't score the sheet, so then I own part of the right because you didn't pay me for scoring. You didn't pay me for arranging. So as a music publisher, on my work notification form, and we'll see it eventually, there's a part for the arranger. Who arranged this song? Who put the thing together to say to the producer, this is the arrangement? What I have found in the Caribbean, you go to the studio and the engineer or the producer would say, sing a part, let me hear. And then you would sing some part of the song and he would go to the software or to his computer and start to put it together. Sometimes producers, can't even play a note. They use the air to structure the music. And then they want to claim arranging rights. Probably they can, but it's going to be difficult if you have the author, the composer has the melody, has the notation, has everything that he needs before he go to the recording studio. If you come to my studio, Adrian, and you don't know what you want, if I'm a scrupulous fellow, I could take all your rights because everything is surrounded. Lack of information, lack of knowledge. So don't go to the studio.
Well, folks, let's be quite grateful. Mr. Edwards is one of the few honest ones, because it is a reality out there that we have, like you said, producers who would sit there knowingly take your right and not inform you.
That is
has
correct.
happened. I have heard horror stories from my own ear for people going in recording and they did not know their rights. They thought they were going in with a full product and they came back out and the pie was sliced quite thin.
That is true.
Quite thin.
That's true.
Right, but pastry aside, when we come back from the break, we'll be discussing a bit more about mechanical rights and what you need to know so that you can avoid the pitfalls within the business. So don't go too far. There's quite more than to see and hear right here on Caribbean Music Line.